I stumbled upon this group in Berlin in December at a really large event, and just as you do when you're out doing your business and enjoying yourselves, you pick up on interesting developments in the business. And the IMS, the curation of the IMS that we put together is built out of us doing our daily jobs and our daily lives and finding interesting concepts and people, I think, doing important things, and that's how we put this event together. I took particular interest in this because these are 4 out of 6 people who've created an association of agents. And we have lots of associations for promoters. I'm involved in an association for independent festivals. And these guys have come together to create an independent agency based out of Berlin. So I'm going to hand over to Alma, Katrin, Suzana, and Kim. I'm going to go back and forwards with them, but first of all, I'd like them just to explain to us why you felt the need to do this in Berlin.
We just were a couple of agents that knew each other for a while, and we got together to share our experiences with current changes that crossed our daily business. And our first meetings were really fruitful, and we figured also that we were really feeling a relief that we are dealing with the same issues. So naturally, we got to the point where we thought we need a greater platform for us and started to organize a meet and greet at the Bermuda, where we rented a space and asked other agents to participate and invited our promoters, who surprisingly took the opportunity and traveled from all over Europe to meet us, and we were pretty overwhelmed by this result. So from there, from the perspective of meeting like once or twice a year, we got totally driven and started to meet more frequently and organized more of other events that will come up, which again, meet and greets or like this we're sitting here now, which is for us something very unbelievable. Because at the beginning we were just gossiping, basically.
Yeah.
You know, we came together and we talked about bad artists or how we have to deal with the difficulties with the artists and other stuff,
promoters.
Yeah. Promoters, of course.
Before we get into that, I'll take the opportunity to give you the opportunity to actually explain who you represent, because between the 4 of you, you represent a pretty impressive roster of artists. So if you could just introduce yourself and the companies that you actually all individually own and tell us who you look after.
Wow.
Okay, give us the short list. Give us the 3 big...
Well, for this we made something really helpful. It's a little booklet you can hand out to save time.
Because
maybe.
We all got so many artists.
Okay, well, just Kim, give us the top 3 in your roster without upsetting the other 20.
That puts me really
okay,
on the spot.
I'll do it for you if you like.
Well,
Yeah, do it for us.
Do it. Shall I review everyone's roster? Well, Alma's from Backroom Entertainment, and Backroom and my company, Kimco Entertainment, share a few artists where I do North America and they do the rest of the world for a lot of them. And that would be Dixon and and Henrik Schwarz, Todd Terje, being the main ones. And then I look after several artists for worldwide, like Ian Pooley and Phonique and Jimster and Sure I Can, Milton Jackson, and other free-range artists, just to name a few. Suzana?
I operate worldwide booking and management for Miss Kittin.
Microphone.
Oh, sorry. Did you cut that, Miss Kittin? Laurent Garnier for Germany and Austria. Daniel Miller, new signing on my roster, which I was very happy about. And then a bunch of other artists like Alex Smoke, Abe Duque, Tyran Schmire, The Hacker.
I'm representing Richie, Hawtin, Marco, Carola, and Magda, and some other artists too. So that's basically it. No, more than that. But
and you're obviously all Berlin-based. So to tell me, obviously Berlin is rife with amazing clubs, amazing DJs, more DJs per capita or whatever you call it. It's a hotbed of electronic music. What are the challenges in Berlin that made you do this, or is it more worldwide? Is it more worldwide issues that you're trying to get together to
worldwide?
To talk about?
Yes,
mainly, but there are issues within Germany, more like taxation and things like that we also deal with. But I think the issues that we discuss have to do with more worldwide situations.
And what would you say is sort of top of your agenda at the moment as a working group? What are the sort of key sort of issues that you're trying to collaborate on? Or is it just the chance to get together and share experiences?
I mean, it depends on the meeting. I mean, each meeting that we have, it just seems that there's something that's a little bit more prevalent that seems to affect us. Like, I mean, I think the taxation issue, the European taxation issue, has become a very important topic for us, because this year it seems to have changed, but I think it's a European-wide thing, not just a German thing.
Can you explain a bit about that? Because I think people would be intrigued to hear.
It's more the VAT issue. There's a European-wide system now where companies have VAT numbers, and whenever you're dealing with invoicing, they give you their VAT number, and if the VAT number doesn't go into the system, then basically you need to make sure that you collect the VAT for your country on top of what they're paying, or else you're going to be liable for that VAT, unless they have a valid VAT number that can be within the European-wide system. But I think it's European-wide. It's not just a German situation, but the German Finanzamt is very tough.
Do you being independent, business owners, I know from my own experiences when we launched the Association of Independent Festivals, it was as much about feeling like you had somebody to talk to, because it can be quite a lonely business being out on your own.
Yeah.
Is that very much a part of it?
Exactly, this is the reason why we got together, because most of the artists that we represent, they meet each other all the time on festivals, clubs, events, they travel, they exchange information, and we are always in the back, and we figured out it's good for us as well just to meet and discuss about our issues as well. And for example, I think to come back to your previous question, one of the topics, for example, right now is also to really find a way how to register this association like properly and find like official structure for it. So in terms, we would be able to do something more with it, like organize charity events or things like that.
I mean, I was going to ask you, what would be the sort of long-term goal of what you're trying to achieve?
Just another platform, I think. Like we always went to the music conventions, and we basically paid a lot of money just to run around and find a few promoters, and most of them didn't pay for the convention, so we find them outside on a coffee, and we always felt like a side effect. And on the other side, we got more and more important for the labels and for the artists. It totally changed. Like before, we just were the administration stuff, and now we are so important because the whole PR changed. Everything is important to have the artists on gigs, and so we felt like that we are just underestimated, and we need our platform for ourselves.
So we're basically now trying to arrange more meet and greets at the different conferences, but not exactly within the conferences, since so many people don't register anymore, like say for Sonar and things like that. So maybe we have an outside venue that we've rented, and then we can invite other agencies to come and participate with us, and then in turn we can all invite the promoters we work with, and then we all share the promoters. In a sense, we can meet new promoters that maybe we wouldn't have met with otherwise if it was just us alone. So,
I mean, it's an interesting point, and maybe now is not the time to elaborate on it, but it's something we as conference runners have discussed as well. There's dialogue going on between us and the other events to see whether we should all be working together a bit more, because we appreciate everybody's coming out to these events, paying large amounts of money to travel, to register for hotels. And we're just trying to wonder if there's a bit of a some common ground here that could help benefit everybody. It's something that we're starting to look into, and I don't know how that fits with you, but there's definitely something there, and I think I see a lot of the same faces at all of these events, so it's in everyone's benefits to make these events work for everybody. I take great benefit out of the other ones. So tell me, are the artists that you represent, are they really behind you in this? Do you get a lot of support from them? Are they encouraging you to take this further? I would imagine they are, right?
Yes, they are, extremely. And they think it's also in their benefit, like because this is just gonna improve our work also for them, and if we are happier and working better, it's in their benefit as well. So they think it's great. I mean, all of my artists that I spoke about this with them, they were all like, "Wow, great."
What are you not allowed to talk about?
Usual discreet things that you don't talk about.
I think another point that why we came together 2 years ago was the big change of before we always had bookings in like 3 or half a year ahead of time, and all of a sudden we didn't have this anymore. And being independent, that was a big threat. So we all of us realized that there are so many last-minute bookings. Like we now work on a monthly basis. Like basically, we get bookings for the same week or the next week, and that makes our artists panicking all the time. Like, hey, what's going on? Why don't I have bookings in 3 months? And all of a sudden you are in the months and you get all these bookings. So it became more unpredictable, and that helped us to see, oh, it's not our agency totally falling down, but everybody has this problem. And since we never talked about it before, it gave us a confidence that this is a change of the market. And so we discussed this a lot, basically.
I purposely don't want to mention the fact that you're all female. But you know, because it's always a dilemma in these situations, because you don't want to highlight something that's A, quite obvious, but B, I think it is interesting to me, you know, the other 2 members are both female as well. You're all in Berlin. Is it an open shop for anybody to join? How come you're all female? What's the reason?
We know each other for a
No,
while.
yeah, exactly. We know each other, and women are better in gossips. That's seriously it, because we were like gossiping a lot in our meetings, and I don't know. And no, we are open for other. It's just that whole structure, the coordination would become very difficult if we start to do frequent meetings with everyone. So we had this discussion for months, and we said, okay, we are the group, we are the initiators, but we are targeting to have at least maybe twice a year a bigger group where we invite other agents, and we have a huge discussion group or something.
Everyone is invited.
Are there agents in Berlin that you're trying to target to join, or outside of Berlin? Are you on a, for instance, for us, we pay membership fees. Do you pay membership fees?
Well, we're not official structure right now.
Okay.
I mean, once we set up
we will have to.
Yeah, once we set up the association officially, then we're going to have to do something like that.
Yeah, and then at this point you start to try and get other people to join, right?
The other people were totally interested straight away with the Bermuda. We saw that all the agents, and there were also gossip that we created a lead or something, but that's not true. We were just like, how will you,
But I think in general it's just effective, or more effective, if we are like
a core,
you know, our small group, because it's just not simply handleable, you know, to like expand that group. And it's also like, you know, the topics we are talking or stuff like this, it's more better in a smaller group, more you know. What is, you know, nothing wrong about it.
And
actually,
when we bring the other agents in for the bigger things, like if we do sonar, like the more the meet and greets, then, you know, we all have to pay a fee because we're renting venues and things like that. So everyone participates in the cost. But once we set up our association officially, then we have to figure out how our structure is going to be.
yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, just so everybody knows, we as the IMS felt it was important to give this organisation, soon to be official association, a platform. I think it should be encouraged, and we comp their memberships to be here, and I think every conference should be supporting associations like this to help open up and improve business. So we're going to have to move on because of Mr. Lynch, but thank you very much. It's a really good introduction.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah,
thank you for the invitation.